Have you ever wondered why, even though you eat right, stay active, and try to do everything by the book, your legs still feel weaker than they used to? Why do the stairs feel steeper lately? Why does getting up from your chair take just a little more effort than before? Most people chalk it up to aging. And sure, age plays a role. But what if something else is quietly contributing to that decline? Something you thought was healthy. Here's the surprising truth. Many older adults make the same innocent mistake every day, and they do it with full confidence. They're eating fruit. Yes, fruit. The food we've all been told is natural, wholesome, and good for us. And most of the time, it is. But not every fruit is ideal for those over 60. In fact, some of the most common fruits, the ones sitting in your kitchen right now, may actually be weakening your legs, irritating your joints, and making balance and walking more difficult. As we age, our circulation slows, our bodies handle sugar differently, and inflammation becomes a bigger issue. That means certain fruits can do more harm than good, even if they look perfectly healthy. Today, I'll show you 7 everyday fruits that could be silently sabotaging your leg strength, and what to eat instead to stay steady, mobile, and independent. If you care about your long-term mobility, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. We're building a community here for strong, healthy aging. Now let's dive in, starting with fruit number 7, the one most people eat without a second thought, but probably shouldn't. Let's talk about mango, the 7th fruit. It's sweet, it's soft, it's the taste of summer. And for many people, especially here in the US, it feels like the perfect healthy treat. But for aging legs, mango might be one of the most misleading fruits in your kitchen. Now don't get me wrong, mango is packed with vitamins, especially vitamin C and antioxidants. But here's the problem. It's also loaded with natural sugars, and for older adults, that natural sweetness can come with very real consequences. 1 cup of mango contains about 23 grams of sugar, nearly as much as a small soda. And while that sugar might not seem alarming, as we age, our body becomes more sensitive to blood sugar spikes. The pancreas doesn't respond as quickly, insulin isn't as efficient, and our muscles don't absorb glucose the way they used to. And when sugar lingers in the bloodstream, it feeds inflammation, especially in the joints and nerves. That's when things like leg cramps, knee pain, or strange tingling in your feet begin to creep in, often without any obvious cause. I've had people tell me they thought it was just bad circulation or old age. But when we looked at their diet, they were having mango almost daily, in smoothies, fruit salads, even dried mango as a snack. Take Joyce, 67, from Charleston. She's active, eats clean, doesn't touch soda, but she started feeling this heaviness in her legs by mid-afternoon. Her feet tingled at night. Turns out she'd gotten into the habit of blending a mango smoothie every morning. Once she switched to lower sugar fruits and added half an avocado for creaminess, the symptoms eased within weeks. And science backs this up. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults with higher post-meal blood sugar spikes showed more signs of muscle fatigue and joint inflammation compared to those with more stable levels. Here's what I often suggest. If you love mango, you don't have to banish it forever. Just think of it as an occasional treat, not an everyday staple. And if you're craving something creamy and satisfying, go with half an avocado instead. It's rich in healthy fats, low in sugar, and it supports your joints, your heart, and your blood sugar all at once. Honestly, in my own routine, I've replaced most of my morning fruit smoothies with avocado, spinach, and berries. And not only do I feel more energized, but my knees thank me too. So the next time you reach for something sweet and tropical, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this helping my legs or quietly hurting them? It's a small change, but sometimes that's all it takes to protect the legs that carry your independence. And speaking of small changes, what if a fruit you eat without thinking, maybe even every single night, was slowly irritating your joints from the inside? Number 6 is often mistaken as the safe choice, but it may be quietly tightening your hips and stiffening your knees. Green apples. Crisp, tart, and usually labeled as the healthier apple. Not too sweet, low in calories. What's not to love? But here's the thing. For aging joints and sensitive digestion, that sharp crunch might actually be doing more harm than good. Green apples are high in something called malic acid. That's what gives them their signature sour flavor. And while malic acid has some benefits, it can even help with energy metabolism in younger folks. It's not always a friend to older adults. As we age, the protective lining of our gut becomes thinner, and the soft tissues around our joints become more vulnerable to irritation. That means acidic foods like green apples can quietly trigger discomfort. Things like stiff knees in the morning, a sore lower back after sitting, or tightness in the hips after a short walk. I remember talking to Frank, a 72-year-old from Boise, Idaho. He had a green apple every night after dinner, said it was his healthy habit. But over time, he started waking up with hip tightness that made it harder to get going in the mornings. When he switched to a pear instead, the change was noticeable within just a couple of weeks. No pills, no therapy, just a different piece of fruit. And while green apples may taste less sweet, they still contain around 19 grams of natural sugar, which can cause mild blood sugar spikes, especially if you eat them on an empty stomach or late at night. Those spikes can contribute to fatigue, inflammation, and yes, even leg heaviness or cramping. There's research to back this up too. A study in arthritis and rheumatology found that even low-grade dietary acidity can worsen joint pain in older adults, especially when combined with blood sugar fluctuations and slower cartilage repair. Now let me be clear, I'm not saying green apples are bad, but they may no longer be the best match for your body if you're over 60 and noticing more aches and stiffness. Personally, I'm a big fan of pears as an alternative. They're naturally low in acid, rich in fiber, and gentle on both your gut and your joints. Try a ripe Bartlett with a bit of cinnamon or almond butter. It's satisfying, nourishing, and doesn't leave you feeling sore the next day. Getting older doesn't mean giving up your favorite foods. It just means getting smarter about what your body needs now. That one simple shift could mean more comfortable mornings and steadier steps all day long. Number 5 might just be the most surprising of them all, because it's a fruit we've trusted for generations, especially first thing in the morning. Oranges, sweet, bright, and packed with vitamin C. They've long been celebrated as a symbol of good health, from breakfast tables to cold remedies. But for aging joints, that daily glass of orange juice could be doing more harm than good. Let's talk about why. Oranges are rich in citric acid, which gives them that tangy, refreshing flavor. Now, in younger bodies, that acid is typically well tolerated. But as we get older, the tissues in our joints, especially the cartilage, become more delicate. Citric acid can actually aggravate inflammation, making joint stiffness, swelling, and even pain more likely, particularly if arthritis is already in the picture. You might be wondering, but isn't vitamin C good for my joints? Yes, it is, but the delivery system matters. A whole orange now and then might be fine, but a tall glass of orange juice, that's a highly concentrated mix of citric acid and natural sugar, and that combo can spike blood sugar and irritate your body's most vulnerable tissues. Lillian, a 70-year-old retired teacher from Santa Fe, used to drink orange juice every morning with breakfast. She thought she was doing the right thing, but over time she began to notice increased stiffness in her knees, especially after sitting for a while. After switching to warm lemon water in the morning, less acidic than orange juice, and adding a handful of berries to her breakfast, she noticed a significant difference in just a few weeks. And here's what the science says. Research published in the Journal of Inflammation Research shows that citric acid may contribute to the breakdown of collagen and cartilage in inflamed joints, particularly in older adults who already have reduced joint resilience due to aging or arthritis. What I often tell my clients is this: oranges aren't bad, but they're not neutral either. Especially in juice form, they're concentrated and acidic, which isn't ideal for aging joints that are already under stress. In my own life, I've moved away from citrus-heavy mornings. Instead, I'll start the day with a glass of room-temperature water with a splash of lemon, just enough to wake up the digestion. And I'll reach for blueberries or raspberries with my oatmeal or yogurt. They're naturally low in sugar, packed with anti-inflammatory antioxidants, and much gentler on the joints. The key takeaway here isn't to fear fruit, it's to understand how our bodies change with age and adjust accordingly. because small changes in what you eat each day can lead to big changes in how you feel each morning. Number 4 may look like the perfect summer snack, but it could be quietly weighing down your legs. Watermelon. Light, juicy, and over 90% water. On a hot day, nothing feels more refreshing. And yes, it's low in calories, hydrating, and rich in vitamin C and lycopene. But here's what many people don't realize. Watermelon has one of the highest glycemic index, GI scores of any fruit, around 76 to 80. That means it's digested very quickly and causes a sharp spike in blood sugar. Now here's where it gets tricky. Because while watermelon's glycemic load, GL, which measures the real impact of a typical serving, is considered low, that only holds true in small portions. And let's be honest, when was the last time anyone stopped at just one slice? As we age, our ability to handle rapid sugar spikes weakens. The pancreas doesn't release insulin as efficiently, and the muscles and cells don't absorb sugar as quickly. So even natural sugar from fruit, if eaten in large amounts, can linger in the bloodstream, cause inflammation, and worsen circulation, especially in areas like the calves, ankles, and knees. Carl, 69 from Phoenix, noticed something odd. After summer barbecues, his legs always felt heavier, slower. He blamed the heat, but the real culprit was hiding in plain sight. His big bowl of watermelon. Once he swapped it for sliced cucumber with mint and a handful of berries, that post-dinner heaviness disappeared. Studies from the Journal of Nutrition and Aging confirm that high GI fruits, when eaten regularly in large amounts, are linked to slower walking speeds and increased lower body stiffness in older adults. Personally, I think watermelon still has a place in a healthy diet, but it needs to be enjoyed mindfully. A few small cubes? Fine. But filling up a whole plate, especially late in the day when you're not active, that sugar has nowhere to go, except into your joints and tissues. These days, when I want something cool and hydrating, I reach for cucumber slices, fresh mint, or even citrus-infused water. It's still refreshing, but without the blood sugar roller coaster. Because what hydrates you should never be the same thing that slows you down. And if you're still here with us, thank you. That already means you care about your health. If this video has helped you in any way so far, just drop a number 1 in the comments below. That's our little way of knowing you're still with us and that we're walking this journey together. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button and the little bell icon. That way you won't miss the next simple habit or small tip that could help you feel stronger, steadier, and more free day by day. Number 3 might be tiny and innocent looking, but it could be quietly fueling the fire in your joints. Grapes. Easy to grab, sweet to taste, and often marketed as a heart-healthy snack. And yes, they are loaded with antioxidants like resveratrol. But that's just part of the story, because when it comes to leg pain, swelling, or that deep ache in your joints, grapes may be doing more harm than good. Here's why. Grapes are very high in fructose, a natural sugar that, in excess, can wreak havoc on the aging body. What most people don't realize is that fructose doesn't get processed like other sugars. Instead of going directly into the bloodstream for energy, it's processed by the liver. And when your liver is overloaded, fructose gets converted into uric acid. That's the same uric acid responsible for gout, joint inflammation, and those painful flare-ups that can hit your toes, ankles, or knees like a lightning bolt. Harold, a 74-year-old retired bus driver from Albany, New York, started experiencing this burning pain in his big toe. He thought it was his shoes. He even bought custom orthopedic inserts. But nothing changed, until one day his daughter noticed how often he was snacking on grapes, a few here and there throughout the day. Turned out he was eating nearly 2 cups a day without thinking about it. Once he swapped them for a small handful of tart cherries, the pain started easing within a week. And the science supports this too. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that fructose consumption was strongly associated with higher uric acid levels, especially in older adults. Over time, that buildup leads to inflammation, stiffness, and in many cases, reduced mobility. Now look, I'm not saying you can never enjoy grapes again, but the key is mindfulness. Grapes are so easy to overeat because they're small and sweet. You don't realize you've had 2 full servings until your knees are barking at you. In my experience, especially with older clients, swapping grapes for cherries can be a game changer. Not only are cherries lower in sugar, but they've actually been shown to reduce uric acid and help with joint inflammation. Just don't go overboard. Even with cherries, moderation is key. A small handful a few times a week can support joint health without adding unnecessary sugar. For me personally, I stopped keeping grapes in a bowl on the counter. They're too easy to snack on without thinking. These days, I portion out my fruit intentionally, and when I reach for something juicy, it's usually cherries or even a crisp slice of pear. Because sometimes it's not about how much you're eating, it's about what you're eating and how your body responds at this stage in life. And when it comes to your legs, your joints, and your independence, those little details can make a world of difference. Number 2 is one of the biggest surprises because it's a fruit we've all been told is good for muscles. But in reality, it could be making your legs feel heavier, not stronger. Bananas. Soft, sweet, and often praised as a muscle-friendly snack thanks to their high potassium content. You've probably heard it 100 times. Eat a banana to prevent cramps. But here's what that advice doesn't tell you, especially if you're over 60. Bananas can also contribute to swelling, stiffness, and poor circulation in the lower body. Why? It comes down to their high starch and sugar content. A medium banana has about 27 grams of carbs, most of it in the form of quickly digestible starch and sugar. That can cause a rapid blood sugar spike, and for older adults, those spikes are harder to manage, often followed by dips in energy and increased inflammation, especially around the knees and ankles. But there's another issue people rarely talk about: water retention. When combined with certain medications, especially diuretics, which many heart patients take, bananas can throw off your body's delicate balance of sodium and potassium. The result? Swollen feet, puffy ankles, and stiffness in the legs that doesn't quite go away with rest. That's what happened to Martha, a 75-year-old retired nurse from Houston. She was eating a banana every morning with breakfast, thinking she was doing the right thing. But her legs felt tight, especially after walking her dog. When she swapped bananas for half a kiwi or a few slices of ripe papaya, the difference was noticeable. Less puffiness, better energy, and a lighter step. Science supports this too. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults with higher intakes of fast-digesting carbohydrates experienced more lower limb edema and reported more difficulty with walking and standing for long periods. Personally, I think bananas aren't bad. They just aren't the one-size-fits-all fruit we once thought they were, especially not for aging bodies that are more sensitive to sugar, fluid balance, and muscle recovery. If you're looking for a potassium-rich alternative that's gentler on the body, kiwi is a great option. It's lower in sugar, packed with fiber and antioxidants, and won't leave you feeling bloated. Papaya is another favorite of mine. It's soothing to the gut, rich in natural enzymes, and feels easier on the legs after a meal. Sometimes the hardest part about getting older isn't the pain. It's the frustration of doing all the right things and still not feeling your best. That's why understanding how food interacts with your body now, not 20 years ago, is so powerful. And once you begin to feel that difference, fewer cramps, lighter legs, better movement, you realize it's not about restriction. It's about choosing smarter and finally feeling in control again. Number 1 may sound like the golden fruit of health, but it could be the very thing quietly inflaming your joints. Pineapple. Juicy, tropical, and often praised for its natural anti-inflammatory benefits. You've probably heard that it contains bromelain, an enzyme that may help reduce swelling. But here's the twist. For older adults, especially those on certain medications, pineapple can actually do the exact opposite of what it promises. That's because pineapple isn't just a fruit. It's a complex chemical cocktail of strong, natural acids and fast-digesting sugars, wrapped in a sweet and sunny disguise. Let's break that down. First, bromelain, while potentially beneficial in small isolated doses, is also known to interact with blood thinners like warfarin or aspirin. That means for anyone taking medication for heart disease, high blood pressure, or stroke prevention, which includes many people over 60, pineapple can alter how your medication works, either intensifying its effect or making it less effective. Now add to that the high acidity and natural sugars, and you have a triple threat. Acid can irritate joint tissue, especially if arthritis or inflammation is already present. And the sugar, it contributes to blood sugar fluctuations, water retention, and low-grade inflammation, all of which can leave your legs feeling swollen, heavy, or sore after meals. That's exactly what happened to Stan, a 68-year-old from Tampa. He was eating pineapple chunks every night with dinner, thought it was a healthy dessert. But over time, he noticed persistent swelling in his ankles and tightness in his knees. No big injury, no sudden change in routine, just a slow buildup of discomfort. It wasn't until he mentioned it casually to his doctor that someone finally asked, "What are you eating?" Once Stan swapped the pineapple for sliced papaya, the improvement came within weeks. Smoother joints, less stiffness, and better energy overall. And science backs this up. Research in clinical nutrition and aging has shown that acidic fruits can worsen joint inflammation in older adults, particularly when combined with medications that affect blood clotting or circulation. It's not about pineapple being bad, it's about it not being right for every body, especially an aging one. Personally, I used to add pineapple to salads or smoothies for that tropical kick, but I've since learned that papaya offers similar digestive benefits without the risks. It's rich in enzymes like papain, which are gentler on the stomach, and its low-acid, low-sugar profile makes it much more joint-friendly. I now recommend it often to clients who need digestive support but can't risk the joint irritation or medication interaction. The hardest part is that fruits like pineapple look so healthy, and they are, for the right person at the right time. But when you're over 60, the rules change. Your liver, your joints, your metabolism, your medications, they all process food differently. Understanding that isn't restrictive, it's empowering. Because once you know better, you can feel better. And that, to me, is what healthy aging is all about. Let's shift the focus, not just on what to avoid, but what to embrace. Because healing begins when we choose the right support, not just steer away from harm. The truth is, fruit can still be one of your best allies in healthy aging, as long as you choose the ones that work with your body, not against it. These next few fruits don't just taste good. They help reduce inflammation, support better circulation, and ease the kind of joint stress that often builds quietly over the years. And the best part? They're easy to find, simple to enjoy, and gentle on aging systems. Let's take a look at a few favorites I recommend often, both professionally and personally. Berries, and especially blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, are packed with antioxidants called anthocyanins, which are powerful inflammation fighters. They help protect blood vessels, support circulation, and ease joint stiffness. I often suggest adding a handful to oatmeal, Greek yogurt, or even a small smoothie with greens. Plus, they're low in sugar, so you get the sweetness without the spike. Avocados are technically a fruit, and one of the most supportive for joints. They're rich in monounsaturated fats that help lubricate joints from the inside out, while also stabilizing blood sugar. If you've ever felt lightheaded or sluggish after eating too much fruit, avocado may be the balance you need. Spread it on toast, blend it into a smoothie, or eat it by the spoon. It's satisfying and stabilizing. Papaya is often overlooked, but it's a gem for older adults. It contains papain, a natural enzyme that helps ease digestion and reduce inflammation. Unlike pineapple, papaya is low in acid, gentle on the stomach, and soothing for joints. I love it chilled with a splash of lime or sprinkled with cinnamon. Pears are a great alternative to acidic fruits like green apples. Their gentle sweetness and high fiber content make them perfect for stabilizing blood sugar. Plus, they're easy to chew and digest. Ideal if you're experiencing any sensitivities or just want something light but nourishing. Try pairing them with a slice of aged cheese or a few walnuts for a snack that supports both energy and joint health. And finally, tart cherries. In moderation, they've been shown to help lower uric acid levels, which means they can be especially helpful if you deal with gout or recurring joint pain. Just a small handful or a few ounces of unsweetened tart cherry juice a few times a week can make a real difference. But again, moderation is key here, especially with juice. These fruits don't just fill your plate. They fuel your movement, support your balance, and help your body recover from the wear and tear of daily life. To me, it's not about cutting out food you love. It's about choosing smarter, more supportive options that help you feel better today and stay stronger tomorrow. Because when your legs feel good, everything gets easier. Walking, standing, sleeping, living. And the good news is the right fruit can help get you there. One bite, one choice at a time. As we grow older, our bodies speak to us. Not always loudly, but persistently. A little stiffness when we get up. A dull ache after a short walk. That slow fatigue in our legs that wasn't there before. These are more than just signs of aging. They're messages. You don't need to fear fruit, but you do need to choose with wisdom. Start with one change this week. Notice how your body responds. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. If you've made it this far, it tells me something about you. You care. You care about your health, your mobility, and your future, and I'm truly proud of you for that. Now I want to hear from you. Which fruit surprised you the most? Have you experienced changes in your legs or joints from something in your diet? Share your story in the comments. You might inspire someone else today. If this helped, give it a like. Hit subscribe so you never miss science-backed, compassionate health tips for aging strong and living well. Thank you for being here, and remember, your legs don't just carry your weight, they carry your freedom. Let's protect that together.